morning, everyone. Thank you for coming to listen to me. I think it's really important to just have a few minutes to think about how you make your decision. You have a room of lots of schools upstairs and you need to choose one, and I'm going to try and talk to you about how to do that. So I can see that some of you have the big books already, and so already you can see that there are lots and lots of schools all saying quite similar things. So I'm just going to give you a few pointers about how to try and pick the right one for you or your child. So the first thing is probably the best thing if you can possibly get that, but it's to get a recommendation from a friend or someone who already has a child at a school in the UK. But there are plenty of other ways and places where you can look for schools, and of course there's online searches. Then there are wonderful fairs, events like the one here that Business Link do, and you could just look at the school websites. We all have school websites. But what you need to do first of all is think about what you're looking for. So the school that is right for a child over here might not be right for your child. So you need to think about exactly what you're looking for in a school. Of course, the key feature, the main feature that you might consider first is whether the school is a co-ed school, a school for all girls, or a school for all boys. And then the next thing probably is whether you want to have a school that's near a big city or out in the country. And the schools in both those places will have different characteristics. So a school that's in a big city like London or Edinburgh will have access to all the museums and art galleries, but won't necessarily have the access to the outdoors and the space that a rural school will have. And of course the rural schools can do trips to the museums and things. So by sending your child to a rural school, they won't necessarily miss out on the art galleries and things that a big city has to offer. The other thing you need to think about is whether you want a large school or a smaller school. Probably a larger school might have more opportunities, they can offer more options in terms of subjects and activities, but a smaller school will have the more personalised approach and they will know your child better. That's just a decision that you could need to make based on the characteristics of your child. And then for those of you who are looking with older children, one of the differences in UK schools is whether they offer A-level or IB, the International Baccalaureate, in year 12 and 13. But that is for older children. And really, again, it's your decision. There is you will not get into university more easily with one or the other. They're both as good as each other. And then the bit that I think is probably the most important bit is really looking at what your child is interested in, what they like doing. And then most of the schools will have a slightly specialist area, some more than others. So for instance, at Mount Kelly, we have an Olympic swimming pool, an Olympic swimming programme, and there will be other schools who have bigger music departments and drama departments, but you just need to go around and get a feel for that when you're talking to the schools upstairs. So a few pictures here, but another really important thing to think about is the boarding. And you need to ask quite detailed questions of the schools about their boarding. So the most important thing is how many of their boarders are full boarders, which means people who are at school from Monday to Sunday, so the whole 7 days a week, and those who are only at school for the weekdays. What you don't want is your child ending up at a school where all the children go home at the weekends to their parents and your child is left with just 2 or 3 friends at the weekend. You want a school where most of the children are full boarders so that they're going to be there at the weekend. And similarly, during the weekday, you don't want a school where it's mostly day pupils and they all go home at 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon and your child is left with a long afternoon and evening to occupy themselves. Our school day finishes at 6. So everyone is there until 6 o'clock in the evening. So the boarders are busy, everyone is busy until quite late on in the evening. I think that as well is quite an important consideration. Obviously, one of the main things you are looking for your children is academic opportunity, and all the schools upstairs will offer your children an excellent academic curriculum and opportunities. So they'll all have great teachers that's the nature of the schools that are here. And the other thing that I know from talking to parents yesterday, a lot of your children are in schools where there are over 30 children in a class. The class sizes in all the schools upstairs will be sort of 15 to 20, so it's a much smaller environment, so your child gets much more personalised focus, and that's what you're paying for, or one of the things you're paying for. As we discussed earlier, one of the things you're also looking for your children, and something that's very important to UK families, is what happens outside the classroom. So when you're applying to university, it's not just about your 3A stars at A level or your IB grade score. It's about all the other things that you've done that can set you apart from the other applicants that they're looking at. So obviously I know what happens at Mount Kelly, so I can tell you a little bit about that. But as I said before, every school up here will be offering similar things. But this is our school choir at a competition singing in Venice. So that's a great opportunity, something that they will remember for the rest of their lives. And just the variety of music that's on offer. This is my son pretending to be a pop star. And all the schools will have amazing drama opportunities, and if your child has a particular interest in that, you need to try and find out which school has the biggest drama department and offers the most drama. And sport is another thing that's really important in English boarding schools, British boarding schools. There are Scottish schools here, I mustn't say English. So they will all offer a great variety of sport. And again, you need to dig down and find out which sports they offer and which ones appeal to your child the most. And then the other thing that all these schools will offer is opportunities beyond the classroom, so adventurous trips and activities. One of the things that we do at Mount Kelly, which is quite fun particularly for the younger children, is whenever we can, we take them outside so that they're learning by example and experience rather than just out of a textbook. So this is a geography class learning about coastal erosion. They're out at the beach. And this one is a biology lesson. This is our head of biology dissecting a rabbit. And then the adventurous activities, particularly as the children get older, this is where you can really start building on things for your personal statement for when you apply for university. So this top picture is a race called the Devizes to Westminster Canoe Marathon, which quite a lot of schools take part in. And I think it's the boy in the back there, when he applied to Imperial College to read chemistry, he had revised all his chemistry for his interview, and when he went for his interview, the only thing they asked him about was this canoe marathon, because it's quite an unusual thing and it's an amazing thing to do. So it's just that little thing that sets you apart from the other applicants, which is really important. Anyway, the next slide shows some photographs of the combined cadet force, which is something else that a lot of the British schools do, that teaches leadership skills, teamwork, and can often run alongside the Duke of Edinburgh Awards, which are another thing that a lot of British schools do that give their children extra things to put on their personal statement. And also, it's fun. So, and then another thing that's obviously really important for your children is that they make friends. So there'll be lots of social events at the schools, and your children will make friends for life. And how great, they'll have friends in, who live in London, who live in Edinburgh, who live in Hong Kong, and they will have a great network. And that's one of the reasons that we all send our children to schools like these. And so just in conclusion, I don't know how you guys do it. I don't know how you choose a school when there are so many out there. But I think the most important thing is if you can possibly visit the UK, then you should try and visit a few schools. And you should try not to visit more than about 3 or 4. Otherwise, again, you'll just be bombarded with information. So try and choose 3 or 4 that you like, but maybe have slight differences. It's very easy as well to just look up a couple of facts. But be careful about judging schools by exam results, because some schools have different entry requirements. So obviously the more selective schools will have much better exam results. You still need to be trying to find the school that's right for your child. And I think the bottom line is when you go to the school that is the right school, you will know in your heart that it's the right school. And sometimes you have families who come and visit the school and they've been to lots of other schools and they choose your school and you don't really know why, except that it felt right. And that's important for us too. We want children who are going to fit into the school and be happy, and that's all our schools will be wanting the same thing, and we want you to be in the right school for you. Good luck in your search. I hope you all find the right place, and I'm sure you'll all do well wherever you go. Thank you.